Broadcasting live from sunny South Florida, this is KMA Talk Radio. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. Your KMA crew, the Italian Scallion, Paul DeGracco, Alex Tavella, a.k.a. The Goat, and always telling it like it is, Honest Abe.
I like to smoke them like the Winston Churchill, like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar. My cigar.
Good morning to all our loyal listeners, libertarians, and lovers of the leaf. Honest Abe here with the crew, As always, the man they call the GOAT, Alex Tavella, and the man who always has the scoop of what's going on, William Cooper. We are broadcasting live from sunny South Florida, the best way to start your Saturdays, episode number 494. I'm getting a little nervous now.
494, bro.
It's getting close.
And we were supposed to talk about that at our meeting this week about what the date, finalize the date and the plan. So we're gonna have to finally.
Yeah, let's try and get on early next week.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to really nail this down on what we're gonna do for episode 500.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's address the elephant in the room real quick. You know, I even
is he really an elephant?
It's not. But here's the problem. I even changed the outline this morning, because the original outline was like Paul's not here, Paul's in Hawaii, who cares?
Yeah.
I changed it to like Paul's here with us from Hawaii. After all his, I'll be there, blah, 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 especially when he found out Guy was coming on.
Well, yeah, first off, he would have never been here. Otherwise, he wouldn't even have faked trying to be here. But all of a sudden, since Guy Fieri is going to be on the show, Paul's like, "Oh, I can make it from Disney. I already asked my wife; she said it was okay." That's literally what he said.
Direct quote.
No, it's true. I had Jose Blanco on my
to him to that. Get the fuck out of here.
I had Jose Blanco on my show a few weeks ago. He got up at 4 a.m. to do my show in Macedonia. Okay,
you said that.
There's the couple from Alaska. I'm sure they get up every week like 5 a.m. or earlier to be here for this show.
Well, they're
Where's
probably
Paul?
already ran a mile.
Where's Paul for my question here? Yeah.
I mean, Paul barely makes it at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
to get on the show, let alone 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I really almost think at this point it's just that's the role he's accepted. I think he just revels now into not being responsible or reliable, or because no one can be that unreliable. It's like
for those of you
to be that unreliable,
that time to time like feel bad for Paul. I think he's embraced this role and actually gives us opportunities to
do it. Yeah. This was low hanging fruit, but I'm going to be here, and nothing burger,
right. The guy didn't respond to a message all day when we were asking questions.
Yeah. Or sending a text message saying, "Look, it didn't work. My connection didn't work. I got up early. I'm sorry." Nothing.
Right.
So I mean, this one, I think he brought this one on himself.
He brings them all on himself. Let's just be real.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I'm literally, we've been talking about redoing the intro. Intro is a little stale. I mean, I love it, but it's been around forever.
Right,
I'm literally going to have like
Coop on the intro too.
Yeah, I'm literally going to redo the intro so it says, and special guest contributor Paul DeGracco. I really am.
All right.
I might even have Duffy say sometimes here, sometimes he's not. Yeah. I don't know. Oh yeah. Seth in Israel is more reliable than.
Yes. Although I don't know if Seth has been hacked or what's going on here.
I don't know. I mean, every week we have loyal folks on every week.
Paul's the least loyal follower of the show.
I mean,
he's getting killed. He's gonna get killed for this one. Or does he show up at 11 o'clock?
Yeah, that's possible too.
Oh, if he shows up at 11, I'm booting him out of the room.
Yeah, I'm just pulling him out every time.
I agree. Yeah, he gets booted. You got to be here for the full.
I'll send him a text message. Stop embarrassing yourself.
You have no idea, Rico.
Yeah, you have no idea.
You have no idea.
That's Paul's.
None of us have any idea what it is to have a job and kids and a family. We're clueless.
No, not at all.
No.
We have no idea.
No idea.
We're just three gigolos living our life, having fun, taking it a day at a time.
It really is funny. Oh man, I don't know about you, but I can't believe the first 4 months this year are over.
Right?
Yeah, man, we're heading into the summer. It's wild.
It's like lightning, man. It is like lightning.
Next week,
I'm
PCA.
not lying. I already feel a little bit behind for the Great Smoke next year. I mean,
it was a little later for you this year.
Well, what happened was it got pushed to March, pretty much end of March by the time we got settled in, and we got to come back to February next year. So I'm already feeling stressed. Fuck, man.
Yeah, man, we got to start ordering tchotchkes.
Holy shit! So
yeah, man.
Going to be a lot of changes for the Great Smoke next year. It's going to be
good
it's
changes.
Nothing
Nothing crazy before you start like alarming.
No.
Well,
All changes for the positive, but it's one of those years, and we've been doing it 17 years now, and it's one of those years now where you're like, all right, it's kind of got to evolve, right? Never a comfortable feeling, but there's going to be some, I mean, they're not big changes to how you enjoy the event, but they're going to be big changes to how the event functions, and we'll see how it goes. But it's almost, when we do this, it sucks for me because it's kind of almost like doing it for the first time again.
Right.
We have to rethink a lot of the logistics, but I think it's gonna be for the positive, like extremely positive. That's why we're taking the chance. But good stuff, all good stuff. What else this week?
What else this week? So we
You actually put Paul from Hawaii ? Figured we'd have something to bash about in Hawaii. This guy wasn't getting on.
That's what I'm saying. Prior to that, I changed it. Paul's not here again, and then
right.
this morning I
and
said,
then Paul in Hawaii, I'm going to be here.
Claims is coming on. We had a big drop this week.
Let me tell you, big. This is big. This was big this week.
Well, it's kind of funny because a lot of people have been saying that, but why do you think it's a big drop, Coop? What makes it a big drop?
Okay. I've been really sour on a lot of these single store releases, right? Because, and it's not you guys have ever been sour. You guys do a great job, but a lot of times I see, I've lost a lot of faith in it because I see the manufacturer drop the ball. I see the retailer drop the ball. And here what you got is it's clearly there's still interest because when you sell 1,000 pieces of cigar and smoke.
Wait, Coop. You're breaking up during the steak and potatoes of your comment.
Right.
Oh no. How am I now?
You're good. Right. Go ahead now.
Okay. When you no.
I don't know.
I broke up.
All right, good. Okay. Go. You're in.
Yeah, no. When you pre-sell 1,000 boxes of a cigar that is, frankly, you guys didn't try. The dojo guys didn't get a chance to try. Everyone was all hands on deck with this. There were people excited about this for a pre-release. I think it's big. I think it's because, I've been very critical of organizations who can't sell 100 boxes of something. And you know what I'm talking about. So
that's what really makes it incredible. See, I mean, I don't think this is going to break or come close to our 2021 RML drop. But what people fail to realize is when we, here's one of the things people say, hey, you should do every release that way. It's not that easy because for the main reason is it's very hard for people to buy something that they've never had before. When we went to the pre-order system with Red Meat Lovers Club, it already been out for 3 years.
Right.
It already developed a
version. They've had the cigar.
Everybody knew what it was. Everybody knew they liked it. So it was very easy to do this. The testament to this is literally that no one's tried it other than, I think, Steve and Cindy Saka. So that's the big testament to this project. But what it comes down to is the three parties really involved. I mean, first off, Steve has now built a reputation of delivering the goods. And I know why, because this is why Steve and I really get along so well. We're just both, can be overly psychotic, anal about getting things done the right way. To the point where I know my shit pisses Alex off sometimes. Like, I don't know why. That's the way I want it done. We'll have those discussions, But he's without a doubt developed the reputation of not just going through the motions of anything. And, we've always been that way with our microblend projects. I mean, we're getting ready to press release one next month. I think I let you in on it already, Coop.
Yep.
We're getting ready to release one next month. I mean, we started working on that 2 years ago, so it's never just about, hey, let's make something we could drop. It's about making something right that we're proud of, that we could put out there for the people. And the dojo guys, I'm sure the same way, they're years ahead and all their releases have really been very successful. So I think that perfect storm combination there is really, has given the consumers the confidence that sight unseen, sight untested, everybody's wanting some of these. you know?
Yeah.
And I think, it's only a 13 count box. And I think Steve mentioned that it's on the calendar for some production for sometime in late 2020, mid to late 2024, I think. But, this is your chance to be the first in the country to try it. If you don't want to try it now, you could always try it, when it comes out next year. So it's a big testament to everybody involved. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Steve's almost been unexcited about every project I've done with him personally. I mean, he was excited. He did show excitement on DTX 127. Like he even said, I don't know if we're going to be able to outdo this one for our great smoke drop. But even our regional Meat Lovers Club cigar at the grand opening event, he was really telling people, yeah, I wasn't thrilled with this blend. I'm like, what? I mean, like, what are you talking about? So when he gets excited about something, and he's shown a lot of excitement and talk about how he really, really likes what's happened with this blend, I'm excited, but I haven't even tried one yet.
Right.
Haven't even tried one yet.
Yeah, and I think everybody kind of knows. Look, Steve's the kind of guy that if he didn't feel it was right, he would have told us and Dojo, listen, sorry, you got to push it back. It ain't right. It ain't ready, and I ain't doing it.
1,000%.
Sorry,
Yeah.
maybe we'll get this out in May for a February release. It ain't ready yet. So, we all look, if you like Steve cigars, which, I very rarely find someone that whether they're in your wheelhouse or not has negative to say about the way Steve produces cigars. It's if it ain't right, Steve's not going to put it out, and he don't give a shit what any of us, Dojo, or what plans or what we already did, or even if we dropped the press release already.
Right.
If it wasn't ready, Steve's telling us, sorry, we're not getting these cigars underway. So
I'll tell you what too. What's even a bigger testament, to have that quality control in a place where you really don't make cigars.
That's not his own, right?
That's even more of a testament. That's one, I'm sure,
Yeah.
part of him having the long-standing relationship from back to his Drew Estate days with Hoya de Nicaragua, and him going down there so often. Most of these guys who start a brand, they never go to the factory. They start a brand never leaving the country.
Yeah. They all know Steve and Hoya de Nicaragua. Trust me.
Yeah, and I remember during the pandemic, like he's trying to hijack rides, and because he couldn't get down there.
Yeah.
He was trying to, smuggle himself, figure out how to smuggle himself.
Right. Didn't we meet him
in
Miami? We were down there and he had to scramble. I got to get a COVID test exactly tomorrow at 12 so I can get in and get back out. And
he had to charter a plane once, I believe, too. Or he was looking at chartering a plane. He said, I have to get down here. He was on top of it.
He was trying to hop a ride on people who had a private plane to go down. But I mean, it's really a testament to him. And one of the reasons why we like working with him. So, that being said, we are literally planning the most insane, stupidly nuts. I mean, this could go down as one of the stupidest promotions ever in the history. And when I say stupid, I mean it in a great way. Promotions. So Summer with Saka is coming back in 2023. I'll tell everybody now, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Summer with Saka is coming back in 2023.
Yeah. Question for you guys, I originally was going to say when I saw the news that you guys didn't smoke it and Dojo didn't smoke it, not a collaboration. But then I thought about it. Right? Maybe it's not a collaboratory blend, but I think the project was collaboratory because, again, going back to the fact all hands were on deck with all you parties, how you all participated in announcing this, releasing it, promoting it. So I'll say collaboration, but maybe then this Steve's is what I'll say. That was kind of like my thoughts on that. I didn't know because we've had this talk about collaborations a lot, Abe, on previous shows.
So for us on our end, and I could speak, but I could infer on what Dojo goes through because of our own experiences. But this is not a smoke-in project. This is not a smoke-in microblend. I mean, when we have our microblends, we are smoking the blends. We are trying them. We say we don't like it. We like it. It's an ongoing process. This isn't that. So, Dojo, we were the really first to kind of make it happen for Dojo with Dogma when we put them together with Drew Estate, and we were the retailer to release this. And then Dojo's had a long line of creating their own projects with manufacturers, and then they need a retailer outlet to deliver the product. And I think they work with maybe 3 or 4 people mostly. But being that our relationship and we started them off, we probably get the lion's share of their drops. They like working with us. So this isn't ours for us to try. But I think with Dojo, a lot of it comes down to a lot of times, and it happens with us for microblends. There's 2 of our microblends I know off the top of my head, right off the bat. And I think they're the only 2 that we never tried the blend before it released. We went to the man. One was Padron, which the blend didn't change. Our microblend was we were the first 6x60 cigar. They didn't have a 6x60 cigar.
Yep.
So we were the first 6x60 cigar.
I don't, especially at the time. This is the old man still alive. One way or the other, no matter what, I don't see Abe going back and saying, "Well, can you kind of like, you know?"
Can you imagine me telling them I didn't like the blend?
Can you like tweak it? Yeah, I don't see that going down.
So we had no say in that. And the other one was Fuente, which they had. That was Solaris. I think it was our fourth installment of our microblend series. The one coming up now is 19. But Solaris was some cigars they had that were produced and rolled already that never made it to any kind of a project already. And they sent us one. I smoked it. I'm like, all right. I mean, it's a Fuente. I mean, how bad was it going to be? I'm like, it's a good cigar. And we made it. So we didn't have a process working with those 2 companies. I'm sure Dojo butts up to the same thing sometimes. I think manufacturers want them in the process. And then, I'm pretty sure with something like Steve, Steve's like, hey, look, this is what I'm making. It's for you guys. Enjoy.
Yes.
But you know what? I take that back with Steve too, because I think some of it's sometimes timing. Because Steve did send us RMLs. We picked out the blend. Remember me, you, and Evan, and I think Matt were smoking in the room when we went.
There were a couple different ones.
Yeah,
but I mean, this was a collaboration, and everybody kind of had defined roles. And I mean, we have a text thread going back months. Obviously Steve was handling the cigar and what it was going to be, and everybody has full faith in Steve to handle that. Dojo handling their side with the marketing, the promotion. This is a Dojo cigar. Our side was to execute it, get our side of the marketing ready, make sure it's available, and we have our back end ready to go. So it was a collaboration with a lot of defined roles, and so far so good. Your next step is it's on Steve now, right? Balls in Steve's court.
Yep.
Balls in Steve's court delivery. So what's kind of nice for Steve and the Dojo guys, and I guess us a little bit too, is it's been talked about all this week everywhere, and it'll happen again in November when these cigars finally drop. So it's like a project gets a double whammy instead of a single whammy. But look,
yep.
The reason why, and really, it's I feel sorry for Steve because Steve got a lot of little birdie. Did you pick out the RML blend? Is Kevin Shahan redundant? Is he saying the same thing twice? We just said we picked the blend.
Yeah.
A little birdie told me you just thought you picked the final blend. Oh, yeah.
Maybe it wasn't the final blend.
Yeah,
that you guys picked.
The only birdie would be a big fat birdie, and who knows? I mean, I'm just telling you. He sent us a bunch. We all smoked them. We said we like this one, so I could tell you what I know. So, no, we definitely picked the final blend because it wasn't the one he liked, and he literally sat there and told people that at the final release party. He sat there and told people we picked the blend that wasn't his favorite one, but I think yeah, exactly. And I think what happened after that was when we went to the box pressed, I think he ended up blending it the way he actually
tweaking
wanted.
it.
Yes. Yeah. He got the final say. So which of course we had no problem with. But what were they talking about before that comment?
I don't know. You were going into something, but you never got there, Kevin.
Yeah, I never got there. Oh, so the pre-order system for us is look, I mean, it was probably one of the coolest, best things. I think people really appreciate it. It just takes the stress out of everything. You don't got to jump up. You don't got to go crazy. You could secure your box with a small fee, and that's it. End of story. And even better is you have 8-9 months, to realize that you're going to buy a box in November in case you need to save up or whatever. But and honestly, it destroys the secondary market. Nobody's hunting down 10 boxes of these so they can find somebody to sell it at double the price afterwards, because pretty much anybody who wanted it has gotten it already. So we love this program. We want to try to incorporate it more in the future. It's really simple, really nice, stress-free. And, I think now by our third attempt, we got the computer stuff fine line now. It works fine-tuned.
Yeah.
So.
But that's the other thing that's a testament to the this project. So it's not just trying a cigar. Stop touching stuff, Dave. It's not.
Oh, sorry, I ashed all over my mic. Sorry.
Did you? It's not. Yeah. It's not just like purchasing a cigar that you haven't had. Over 1,000 people went and did that, but they're putting deposits down for cigars not only that they haven't had, but they're not even getting the instant gratification. Like, I'm not getting a shipping confirmation right now either. So that makes it even more to me. Like, look, if I'm hype about something, I'm getting it. I get all right. I'm gonna have it in a couple days. People know that they're not even getting this thing until November.
But that's one of the reasons why we look. It could have been. When I say could have been way easier, it could have been way easier for us to say, listen, you want it, like Steve did with DTX 78. Was it 78? Is that the number? When he did with the digital 38. Yeah. So when he did his second chance for that, for those who couldn't get it during the Great Smoke, it was his rule. He said, look, if people are going to buy this now and I'm going to go back and make more for them, they have to pay for it up front. Right. And he sold a crap load on the second chance, and people paid up front, and we had the money, for whatever it was, 7 months until the second, we could make it easy and just say, look, you pre-order, you pay for it up front. We have your money, see you in November. But I don't know. I just didn't like the thought of tying people's money up for 7 months. So, a small deposit, if you want it, was practical. So it kind of made it a little bit harder on our team to make the logistics work. So people, because the last thing we want to do is go back and look at records and figure out who put deposits down, 1,200 orders, get them all out.
Yeah.
So it was really important to get it all automated and working right. But I think that was the better way to do it. It's a lot easier to say, I'd like a box. Here's $30. And I'll see you.
Hold me a box in November.
Yeah, hold me a box, and I think it's a much more easier feeling for people to feel secure in doing that. So,
I agree.
Yep,
thanks, Mike. It's not, it's funny. We work hard on this kind of stuff. It's not magic. We always use a little expression. There's no elves that come out in the middle of the night and make that shit happen. We work hard to make that shit happen, work right, and we test it because there's it's amazing how you can't keep nothing secret. Like, we had a very small handful of people who ordered before 12.
And by small handful, it's like 50.
No, there wasn't 50.
Oh, no, it was like 50.
How did you get out? But when you turned it on for the other guys, people found it.
Of course.
Yeah, so we turned it on live really quick because we asked a handful of people to please go place a pre-order.
Yeah, you want to test just in case something doesn't work right. Want to have a half hour.
100 times, but we've seen it before where you test something and then you go live and it doesn't work right. So we said, let's turn it on early, give these guys orders, let them place an order, and we'll make sure, because outside of what the consumer sees, there's stuff on the back end that we have to see. The deposit has to show complete. No pulling ticket goes to the warehouse. There's a lot of stuff on our end that we have to test out. And we did it. And I guess a lot of people saw it live and ordered. And they were like, why? How did people order before 12? And da-da-da-da. And it's like,
people do realize they had like 2 weeks to put the order in too. It didn't matter if you put it in first or not, right?
We had, as always, we like to do something cool for our socialites, right?
Right.
So if you don't know what I'm talking about and you're a cigar lover, we have a private group on Facebook, Smokin' Social. It's an awesome community. Check it out, please. Smokin' Social on Facebook. So, we do special stuff for our social group. So I, like 15 minutes before it went live, went on our social group and said, look, first 100 socialites who place an order, we're going to put them in a raffle for a mega Saka Squatch.
Oh, wow.
But, honestly, I was doing all this while driving. This was a last minute thing. I didn't even ask Steve Saka's permission. I just did it.
I was just going to say that.
I just did it. But I really didn't think it through because I probably should have made it. I was thinking, what's a good number to give people a chance? A 1 in 100 chance of winning it for something I was already going to buy is a nice perk. But that didn't even last 5 minutes. Like you had a 3-minute window or 4-minute window to be in the first 100. It was like insane. So I maybe should have made it 250, 300. But still, we were at 530 minutes. But it would have given people maybe more of an opportunity. But yeah, it went like that.
Well,
yeah, I had to make that video twice, Jeff.
Yeah, even I was like, oh, what happened? I guess not.
Right. Yeah, I had to make the video twice. All right, we're going to have a little different timing of our show today, folks, because we do have a very special guest, Guy Fieri. Will be calling in from somewhere. He's up early to get on the show, and I believe we might have a special guest with Guy Fieri today. So we got some really cool stuff in hour number 2, but to make room for that, we've rearranged this week's scheduling of the show. So going into a segment that you normally would see in hour 2, we're going to put our man William Cooper on the spot, and it's time right now to see what's the scoop with Coop.
Hey, yo, what's my theme music?
The Scoop with Coop. Breaking industry news. Hear it first on KMA Talk Radio and cigar-coop.com.
So, Coop, before you get into your segment, I just want to talk about how nice it is to work with professionalism, right? So, we're winging the show. We got everything in kind of a jumbled order. So I'm literally dragging on my story for Alex to catch wind that we're going to, and then I see the nod. Oh, he's doing the Coop, and he looks down. Paul will be like, oh. Literally, like I'm watching Alex to see, do I get the visual cue that he knows where I'm going with this? I see the quick nod. I see him look down to cue the intro. Paul would have been lost, literally last minute. So it's nice. It's nice.
No idea.
Go ahead, Cooper. Tell us, what is the scoop this week?
Well, went to the wire. It was Friday morning, and we did not have an STG release of the week.
I was sweating it, man.
This is some kind of absurdity.
Yeah.
I was sweating it this week.
And actually I had an STG story up, which I'll talk about in a second, but it was an old story, right? So I wasn't going to count that, right? It was something I found that they didn't really announce, right? But sure enough, clockwork, that press release comes in about 11 o'clock, and we now are at 8 consecutive weeks of an STG release.
Do you think they're watching the show and saying, hey, that wasn't supposed? No, we got to get in this week so we can keep our streak going. What the hell is going on here?
I had Justin on the show, my show Thursday night, and I wonder if he waited until after the show because he didn't want to talk about this one on the show because this is a funny one, right? But Justin kept saying, yeah, we have a lot. We talked a little about this thing. He said, yeah, we have a lot of stuff, blah, blah, blah. I gave the whole company line. But all right, so this cigar, I know Alex and I have some feelings on it, but it's called the Punch Dad Bod, and it pays homage to what they say are dad bods, or the beer guzzling, beer belly stomach.
Can we just take a moment of silence for the cigar industry in general right now?
The cigar, it's a pinball shaped cigar, like a pinball pin-shaped cigar. You can see it there with a Father's Day tie. So they're doing this for Father's Day. And they're going to be packaged in what they call stash cans that look like beer cans.
Well, I'm going to tell you, you know what? Maybe my memory is serving them wrong because Alex showed me a picture of this. And I think my first response was Jesus Christ. But the first thing that came to my head, like instantly when I saw this, and I didn't realize.
Yeah, you said, let me pull it. Dad's root beer. Yeah.
Dad's root beer.
That's exactly what you said.
Wow. Yeah, good cat. Yeah.
That's the first thing I saw when I looked at it. I don't know if it was me. I mean, now that I'm looking at the Dad's is in blue and that's in red, but in a can like that with the word Dad's, it just reminded me of being a kid. I'm like, is that Dad's root beer? And then there's like, no, it's Dad Bod. Like
Dad Bod.
The hell is Dad Bod?
Dad Bod is the beer guzzling.
Yeah. Alex, it looks like it's a box press like champion. It's a box press, but I mean, I don't know. Is Justin part of this division?
Justin had nothing to do with this project. He said.
Okay.
Justin did work on a punch project with the Aroas, which is a much more classic one, which I thought is a really nice looking project. I think it's gonna be a good cigar. But this one, not really so much is what he. Because I asked him honestly, and he said, "No, this wasn't my deal."
Who's spearheading all these, like, chilling mooses and
It has punch become like the comical brand for STG?
It is a gesture for a mascot.
Yeah, I mean, they've
Right?
always kind of had that side of them for a long time, because of the punch mascot. But then now they've done these like punch chop sueys,
Right.
and the picture of the Aroa one we talked about a few weeks ago. It's a beautiful looking packaging and cigar. I mean, it's very classic looking. It's a $6.99 cigar. It's going to be right. I mean, I don't know how bad it's going to be for $6.99. It's going to have a Cameroon wrapper, but yeah. I mean, they, General's always, they've done some weird things. They did the CAO cigar that came in the oil can.
The Torque, right? The Torque had the top of the oil can.
Yeah. They've always done some of these types. Yeah, but this one, like I said, it definitely.
This is the tie. I mean, come on, man.
I mean, exactly it.
Listen, I'll bet you any money the guy who came up with that idea to do the tie, where the tie part comes out from underneath the band and whatnot, was very proud of himself. Like that was that was the pinnacle of that meeting. Guys, you ain't gonna believe this.
I got a necktie.
Yeah, look at it. Is this awesome? I can just see that board meeting.
Right.
Yeah. All right, yeah. So that's gonna hit the stores next month, and if you want to get that for your dad or want it for yourself for Father's Day, you'll have a chance to get it.
And just to be clear, none of us has tried this cigar. We don't know nothing about the cigar. We're just totally jabbing at the packaging.
Could be, right. All right. Now on the flip side, there's another story. This cigar's already been out or starting to hit the stores already, and I kind of found out about it because they sent me a sample of it, and then this is a new Gloria Cabana called Corojo de Oro. Now, from the Cigar Geek, this is kind of a cigar that interests me because what they're doing is they said they've developed a hybrid wrapper where they've crossed Pelo de Oro and Corojo seeds together. And they built a blender on it. Last year they did a Criollo de Oro, which was a similar thing. Right. This one has, for Cigar Geek, this is a little more interesting to me. If the cigar is good, this is something that I'm a little more interested in as far as it goes.
This is something where the creativity was in the product and not in the packaging.
Right. I was just going to say, that's exactly what it says. Somehow, and somehow they seem to always cross. Like they not cross. Where they, the packaging's good, and then they get, the blend isn't, and vice versa. So, but yeah, this one should. And then, by the way, that Corojo de Oro was used for the binder in this cigar, if you're interested in that. But $10.49 cigar, and it's starting to hit stores already, as far as I've seen.
Interesting.
Yep. All right. Some other things happening. Klaus Kellner, who is the son of Henke Kellner.
Henke's son, yeah.
He has announced the opening of his own factory, Kellner Cigars Factory.
So he's officially left Davidoff?
He left Davidoff 2 years ago. He was in a.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he left in 2021. He was doing a consultative role for a while with Davidoff, where but I know. As of last year, he was no longer in that consultative role at Davidoff. So he was kind of just doing his own thing, but now he has opened a factory. Incidentally, his brother has a factory as well. His brother has a separate factory. Klaus says that initially he'll start out doing house blends, for people, private label stuff. But I think eventually you'll see people go to that factory. I mean, I think within a year you'll see it.
So my intuition and my gut thought that we would hear a lot more about Hostos Factory when he kind of did the same thing. I haven't heard a lot from Hostos Factory. Have you?
He's starting to.
Now you got to remember when guys like this are making house brands, they may not hit our radar. So I may not even know who he's making cigars for. But if something hits popular, usually word will get out and people start talking about it. It's been a couple years since he started it now.
Yeah, mostly Hostos has been focused on small batch. So he's done some small batch stuff for Matilde. He's doing Danny Dickowitz is one of his La Serenas, the Mexican Mermaid he's doing. Okay. So that one's and it's a very good cigar, by the way. So, again, Hostos is a small factory, so he's probably only gonna be able to handle most of these small batch stuff. He's doing some stuff for Warped as well. So
well, it's good to hear he's keeping busy. I really like that guy.
I do too. I mean, I think he and the blends have been getting better out of that factory, is what I'll say too. First couple I think were a little missed, but it takes a little while. He's probably getting better tobacco now, and it's going good. And I think we'll see the same out of Klaus too. I like Klaus a lot. He's a guy I always felt was always like when I met him the first time, he was picking my brain.
Welcoming. He's a very welcoming guy to meet.
Yeah, really is. Yeah, really is. I've had a chance to interview him. So,
I got to tell you what, I'm smoking this Connecticut Knuckle Sandwich for the show, obviously, because we got Guy Fieri coming on in an hour or two. This has got to be one of my top 3, if not 2 Connecticut.
Have I not been saying that? Have I not been saying that?
I'm not a Connecticut person, really, by nature, on any level.
Yeah.
It's like my least favorite rapper.
We did that show with the Dojo guys, Alex, remember? And it was like,
the
whole hum on it. I'm like, what?
I was stunned. I've been saying that's been one of my favorite Connecticut's. And really.
I agree.
Really. It hits the mark.
And this size was point.
I knew that was
Alex
your size.
Is that the Churchill? The Churchill?
Yeah.
That's the box press Churchill, yep.
Yeah.
Alex picked my cigar for me and had it ready for me when I came in today. It's sized on point. It's a nice, it's almost like a Lonsdale Churchill. A little fatter than Lonsdale. I wouldn't have thought it to be a Churchill, but this is got to be my top 2, maybe 3.
It's a really, third regular production brand. We'll talk about Guy, and you kind of go to the next level with that Connecticut. That says a lot to me.
Absolutely.
I'll be honest with you. This came out first. It might have been a bigger hit.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to tell. There's the first 2, the Maduro and the Habano, had a lot of success, but
it did. But I don't know. This one is good. And it would have been unexpected to come out with a Connecticut first because it's so un-Eric Espinosa too. But this is a winner.
That's a Connecticut. I know Eric's coming on the show, but I could see Eric liking that Connecticut. It just seems like it's a very Eric. I'm not seeing Eric as a Connecticut guy, but I could see Eric really liking that Connecticut, and I'm curious to see his thoughts on that.
Absolutely,
Brad. If you haven't tried this one, I'm giving it the honest Abe stamp of approval. Give it a try.
Yeah, we all agree.
I'm telling you, me and Cooper
solid Connecticut cigar.
Really good cigar. Yeah, I'm gonna light up the 55 in a minute. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Cooper. What else you got going on?
Yeah, what else you got going on?
A couple Fuente items. So
one interesting one.
I don't. Okay, I don't know. So you can tell me which one is the interesting one. So first on the cigar end, they have a PCA trade show cigar coming out. It's called the Don Carlos Eye of the Bull.
That's a nice little size.
Yeah, it's a little. Basically, it's a 3.5 by 55. Everyone's doing 55 ring gauges now. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it really is. And you never seen it. 55.
And it's the year I turned 55, which is funny, right?
55 is the new 54.
Exactly. I don't have a picture of it, but in the cap, there's a dark piece of tobacco in the cap that looks like a bullseye. So this cigar, now I don't know if you've ever gone to the Fuente booth at the trade show. The way the Fuente booth is, they put cigars in the Fuente booth, and it's like Easter eggs. You have to hunt them down, like in terms of, there's something different. And if you find it and ask a question, they may or may not tell you about it, right? And this was in there, but I'll be honest, we missed it. Okay, we totally missed it, right? The Half-Wheel guys did catch it, and they didn't want to talk about it, is what they said. So, but apparently this is a project that's been in the works for a while. I think Matt Tobacco smoked this when he was down at the Fuente factory. So, but this will be at the trade show this year, and it's going to be in 20-count boxes, pricing $12.80 per cigar.
So, Coop, I'm just going to say it. It's fair to say that you can essentially wipe the Fuente Padron collaboration off of PCA.
It's gonna be out before. I think it will be out either much before or much after. I think I'm not. But I think it's off of PCA for another reason. I looked at the booth layouts and they're not adjacent to each other like they were last year. So I don't think they're even gonna be showing that at PCA.
Hold on. When's Father's Day?
June something. 10th. June something.
Usually third Sunday of the month of June.
June something.
June 20th.
Father's Day 20. I'm sure like Kevin Shahan has June 18th.
June 18th. Okay. So David.
Greg, it's the Knuckle Sandwich, Connecticut, Churchill.
Yeah. So Father's Day is June 18th.
Yep. So, like I said, but I don't think it will be shown at the trade show, the Fuente Padron, because the way the booths are laid out are not the same this year.
And you believe there's a chance it'll come out before?
I'm gonna say before the end of the year. I think it's a long shot.
No, you said either before or after the trade show. You think there's a shot?
Well, the only thing is
I'll give you 5-1 odds
that it comes out before. I'm not willing to take that one.
On a secondary before bet.
No, I won't take that one.
10-1 odds.
I wouldn't touch that bet either.
I'm not touching that one. No, I'm not touching that bet. I'm gonna stick. I mean, look, I've been confident, but you know Carlito. It's not right. He could pull that. I know that's why you made the bet the way you did. So
listen. Look, you got inside scoop right there, buddy.
Oh, they said that at the Big Smoke Cigar Aficionado event. They told people that it was Father's Day. That's why I'm like, well, that's why I said it could be. But again, I'm not as confident of making a bet as 2023. That was the one I'll stick with. I'm not stupid here, yeah.
All right, Coop, you got some other Fuente news, right?
Yeah. This was interesting. Jose Blanco, who this is funny. I had Jose Blanco on the show last week, and I know Jose really well, right? And he loves to talk about everyone else, but when it comes to talking about himself, he clams up. He did not say a word to me about this, right? But he is moving into a new role in Arturo Fuente. It's really an expansion of his existing role.
I was going to say, didn't that sound like his own old role? I literally
said
that to myself when I read it.
He had the title of like vice president of sales for like the Eastern Hemisphere, but he was really a brand ambassador for them in Europe, and now basically it's a worldwide brand ambassador role. So he's going to be spending time in the States a lot more now. It sounds like. So, but it's really, I mean, I didn't really see a huge difference in the role for that because again, that's what Jose has done. He's doing a lot of events. He's doing education, and that's what he likes to do. So,
and Jose gets around in Europe.
Let me tell you, I mean, there was one weekend he was in Poland, like the day those missiles like flew over Poland or something like that. He has been, and he's talked a lot about it's because Europe. There's a push in Europe right now with the way the Cuban market's going. Fuente's making a push in a lot of these countries now to try to get that shelf space. So he was spending a lot of time in Europe. And this guy, he like I said, he battled COVID. He's had his recent health issues. He doesn't slow down, is what I'll just say. He just keeps going.
All right. You got anything else going on?
One other piece of news: the question on where the Rubin brothers will land has been answered. So
was that really a question? I've been saying it since the sale happened.
It was officially made.
Well, I think another question was answered for Coop too. A guy he was a little bit worried about, right?
John Lipson.
Yeah.
John Lipson, who's their marketing guy. All three of them have landed there. Alec Rubin's going to be a brand manager. Bradley Lumen's going to be a brand ambassador. And Lipson also is going to be going into a brand manager role. So Bradley's probably going to be the face of Alec Bradley, is what at events.
It's kind of what's been going on
anyway. Yeah. Alec has been Alec's been more of a behind the scenes guy. I know that they're going to be Alec's role is going to be focused a lot on collaborating with whiskey brands too. So that's going to be, I think that's something Alec has been very interested in as well. And the other thing that's really interesting, and I thought this was a good move by General, is they said these guys could live in Florida still. So it wasn't like when the CAO guys came in. Remember they told all those guys, you got to leave Nashville. So I think they learned from that. Yeah. Just
my hunch. I'm pretty sure this was probably all worked out prior to the sale.
I'm sure too. I mean, sometimes I's have to dot and T's have to cross. I mean, I would bet.
Right, but I'm sure it was all discussed and figured out as part of the acquisition.
Sure.
Because if I'm acquiring a company like that, I that's what I would want. You don't want a complete sever of the umbilical cord, right? So that would be part of the thing. Hey, look, we need these two young guys to come on board, work for us. They probably got a 2-3 year contract. I basically said at the time of the sale, the logistical move here is these guys come on board with STC. They do a 2-3 year, maybe 5 year contract. really get to see a company run that was completely different from what they've been with. And probably in 5 to 8 years, you'll see these guys break out on their own and do something.
Yeah. I mean, I also think it was important, like when Tarano came in, there were no Taranos they had, right? At least they have Alec and Bradley, the name. I mean, I think there is something to that when you bring it in. And 5 or 6 years from now, it'll be a different story. I think it will be well integrated into STG by that point. But yeah, I think there is something to that.
Of course there is. You know, if should there come a day where I retire, I'm pretty 95% confident the acquiring company would want me or require me to stay on board at some level for some time. Just
sure.
Yeah, you don't want to sell. You want to cut the cord like instantly. I mean, I think it's the worst thing you do, an acquisition of something that is tied to a people or a personality.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even Alan Rubin is going to be in what they call consultative role for a while.
This is one of the downsides to a Padron acquisition ever. Not that I see Padron ever selling. There were rumors that General were going to buy them 10 years ago and whatnot, but I don't see the Padron as the type of people that are ever selling. I think it's more important that the family name lives on and it stays in the family, and they're already grooming the next generation and the next generation. But how does an acquisition of that company or Fuentes even how does that even take place? How does that relate or work out? How does the legitimacy and work out? I don't even see a model where that could work.
I can't see like Carlito getting bought and they say, Carlito, you got to be in the office Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know, George, same thing. But you're right.
But forget that part of it. You're absolutely right. But let's just say it happens for whatever reason. You know, they get offered an absurd amount of money that's just impossible to say no with, and they do it, and there's no Padron family in the Padron.
It'd be insane.
Anymore.
It would be insane.
How does that play out? Is there? If I was a fiction writer and I could write the book any way I want, can I write it any way in which it works out well?
No, it would be a disaster. It would be an absolute disaster.
The downside of that.
Yeah, and look, Tarano, they didn't do that. Now they brought Jack in like a couple years later, and Jack kind of kept the brand on life support, but he was behind the 8 ball the whole time at that point.
Listen, Tarano was not even the same category because. I mean, let's just be real. The son's name, not Charlie. Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie wasn't a huge presence as a personality. He was the face of the company, but I bet you Charlie could have walked into cigar shops and no one would have known who he was.
Right. I can agree with you on that.
Right. Now, I'm telling you where they did kind of pull it off, but they kind of pulled it off by recreating the brand was CAO.
Yeah.
CAO flatlined immediately after the acquisition, and even worse when
he stayed for a little while. Tim, though.
That's what I'm saying. I just said, and it got worse when they officially cut ties.
They came out that CAO Oso. What a disaster that was.
That's what I'm saying. It flatlined completely.
Yeah.
And the only reason why it stayed around is they didn't give up on the brand.
Yeah.
And eventually recreated the brand completely, and the brand now. The brand, it's been so long that the brand exists with, I think, a large percent of the population not even knowing the original history of the brand.
Well, and I think it was like a key thing I saw at the Great Smoke was Tim meeting with every attendee. He was behind the table the whole time, and he was getting a chance to try to know and introduce himself to everybody. And I thought that was an absolute great thing he was doing because a lot of people I know who did not know who he was.
He needs to.
Yeah, he needs to. Yeah,
most of the people. I'm guessing, and God, it just once again reminds me how the fuck old I am. But I think the majority of the consumer base, today's consumer base, doesn't know their history.
No,
doesn't know their attachment and their development, and his dad and his sister that used to run the company. They weren't around when the famous Cuban Schmooben cigar aficionado ads were being run. They don't know it. They're not able to do it. So.
No, very true.
And what's really crazy is you could say, well, they were smoking cigars, 15, 20 years ago. But here's the thing. They may have been, but over the years, maybe they were just, I'm smoking a cigar here. They weren't into the culture, but now a lot more because of social media and Facebook groups. There's a lot more people who are more attuned to the culture, and they've missed out on anything prior.
Very true. Yeah, and even Tim, the world's changed since Tim left the business in 2009, 2010, and he'll tell you that. Yeah, I mean, he told us on the show. I remember.
Sure.
So yeah.
Anything else you got this week, Coop?
That's it. It was actually a pretty busy week. Of course, the soccer thing was the other thing we talked about. So yeah, pretty busy week.
All right, good stuff. Do we want to hit a name that jam before the break, Mr. Tabella?
Yeah, we can hit a name that jam.
Well, sponsored by our great folks at Avo Cigars, it's time to test the musical acumen of our team. Alex has a song, and we're going to attempt to try to name that jam. All right, Alex, the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know. This is definitely a layup for Coop. We'll see how Abe does and everybody else does.
Well, most things are going to be a layup for Coop.
Sometimes
He's got me. He got me a few times.
This is right in Coop's lane, but we'll see.
That is either a 1,000% layup or it totally sounds like another song for me.
Yeah, it's a layup. This one. It's very appropriate.
This one was a layup. Yeah, this one was a layup. This is going to be a layup for everybody. It's all coming in. Yeah, it's all coming in.
Yeah, it's a little jammed up this week, man. Yeah.
That was a layup. Coop, the song is
1999 by Prince.
Yeah, let's reveal the song.
I was up in Minneapolis, I mentioned last week. I don't know if I mentioned, they're getting ready to name a highway after Prince up there. It is a huge part of
that was
that
part
community.
of your segment last week.
Yeah, huge part of that community. But yeah, he died, Prince died in 2016, right? So this week was the anniversary of his death.
So let me ask you a question.
Is that why you picked the song, or was that coincidence?
It wasn't coincidence. But is this song, right, better now as the nostalgia of 1999 or in 85 when it was released in 1999 hadn't happened yet? Because now it almost has, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it has gotten, I think it's much better now. And this was, the 1999 album was the breakthrough album for Prince. That was the album before Purple Rain. So I think people were still trying to get their arms around it when this came out. Now we look at Prince, he's a very legendary figure, and we look back at this song, and you just realize the genius he had with this.
One of the greatest shows I ever saw. I mean, it wasn't great. The Encore made it great, but no, I didn't get to see a Prince show. I actually went to see Lenny Kravitz when he was playing here, and Lenny Kravitz had a great show. And then the Encore, they walk off the stage, the light turns on, everybody cheers, whatever, and this is going on. And then all of a sudden, we hear like a guitar blaring, still in pitch black, blaring, jamming. Lights come on, and like somebody walks on stage, and they're so small I can't even make out who the hell it is. And it was Prince. He was in town. He ended up playing 2 encores with Lenny Kravitz. One of the coolest things I ever seen. It was super cool.
Later in his career, Prince embraced that role of being kind of like that, kind of not the center of attention, but then he liked to steal the show. And I think the big thing with that was when he did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he does While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and he was just one of the guitar players, and he just blows everyone off the stage with that. I've seen him do that in a lot of other cases too. Just will appear with different artists like Chaka Khan. I saw him do it with once. So yeah, he embraced that role later in his career for sure.
Yeah, nuts. Yeah, it's funny. All the comments are coming about Y2K. All right. Do you remember that, Alex? I mean,
God. I was 18 years old, 17 years
old. We all were on call that night, like, because I in the IT industry. Don't leave your phone, don't leave, in case Armageddon happened. Yeah, it was a big thing that year.
They're all wigged out because they didn't know how the computers were going to deal with the date.
Right.
But the ironic thing is the dates were already future dates before the date change. So, and there weren't problems before that. And that's what a lot of us were saying. We all thought it was going to be overblown. But higher ups didn't want to take any chance with that. I can tell you that.
That's nuts. All right, everybody. We got a very exciting hour number 2. Special guest Guy Fieri and Eric Espinosa. We're going to have a great chat here. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back right after this. Keep it lit.
Explore the unexplored with St. Louis Rey Carrenas. Set sail to discover an extraordinary Honduran cigar deeply anchored in tradition. The St. Louis Rey Carrenas features a Nicaraguan wrapper cloaked over 100% Honduran tobacco that make up the binder and filler. The St. Louis Rey Carrenas, in the Toro size, received a 93 rating in Cigar Aficionado and was featured in their illustrious Top 25 Cigars of 2021 list. The St. Louis Rey Carrenas is available in 4 different sizes: a Robusto, Toro, Bellicoso, and Magnum. So get ready to take a trip back in time to experience the heritage of St. Louis Rey with the St. Louis Rey Carrenas.
Surgeon General warning: cigar smoking can cause cancers of the mouth and throat, even if you do not inhale.
For cigar lovers, the ultimate symbol of prestige has always been a Havana. That's a cigar made in Cuba, of course. Some say they're the best in the world, but because of the embargo against Cuban goods, they've been kind of hard to come by until tonight. Allison Field tells us about a rare find of pre-Castro cigars, which went on the auction block.
Selling 500 right here to bidder number. A smoke-filled room, the appropriate setting for the auction of vintage Cuban cigars. And this is serious stuff.
There's an intense concentration on the auctioneer and on the catalog themselves. A lot of people are puffing hard.
2,100, 2,200, 2,200, 2,100. The first lot, one box of 25 Joyous cigars, went for $2,100 to Al Goldstein, who later speculated on what Sigmund Freud might have said.
Sigmund would say, "Give me one." Do you know he had to have a wooden jaw because he had cancer of the lip, and he had a little indentation put in so he could continue smoking cigars.
The turnout was far beyond expectation.
I was afraid that myself, my brother, my wife, and my sister-in-law would be the only 4 people here.
Far from it. The cigar set sat puffing and bidding away, and as the prices went higher, some thought it was
madness.
Changed your mind, huh?
So I think we're in bad shape. Bad shape.
Things that were suggested between 4 and 5 are going to 5.10. Things that were suggested for 2.75 are at 6.
Many began to think that maybe, just maybe, they could afford a few butts.
I said all cigar smokers are a little bit wacky. If they enjoy their cigars, they love to smoke them, and you take it away from them, it's like taking a bottle away from a baby.
Allison Field, News 4, New York.
Oh, the smell.
Well, they're probably lighting up cigars celebrating in some way up in Lake Placid right now after an incredible victory by the U.S. team over the USSR, Don.
Not a goodie, but it's like horseshoes. It only counts when it's through, horseshoes. Never mind.
We know horseshoe.
Many Americans can tell you exactly where they were when the Japanese invaded Pearl Harbor, when President Kennedy was assassinated, when Neil Armstrong took his first step on the moon. And many remember the moment the USA beat the Soviet Union in the 1980 Winter Olympics. Well, tonight at Lake Placid, the teams met again in a pre-Olympic hockey exhibition. Earlier, we had the Soviets ahead. Now it's 3.
Okay, welcome back to hour number 2 of KMA Talk Radio. This is what happens. I got my man, the GOAT, and Coop here. This is what happens when we don't have a pre-show meeting. This was, I got to explain that commercial.
You wanted the commercial.
Oh, that was awesome. It was like a throwback.
Okay, so that wasn't to be run as a commercial. That's a story. And we had to edit it. You didn't even watch the whole thing. So this is what happens when you don't have a meeting. It was my 17th anniversary. We usually have our meetings Friday afternoon, and it was my 17th anniversary yesterday. So I spent the day with my wife, and we didn't have a meeting. That excerpt was sent to me. I don't know if they caught it. We should have played this in hour 1 and talked about it. And I don't want to waste too much time because we got Guy and Eric in the green room. But I don't know if people noticed, that was Lou Rothman in there.
Yeah.
Lou Rothman of JR Cigars, founder of JR Cigars, He looked like what, in his maybe late 30s at best.
Looking young.
But Lou Rothman was there, and also Goldstein was there, the guy of Screw Magazine, big time. Looked a lot healthier then than when I finally ended up meeting him, because he lives here in Fort Lauderdale. But Lou emails me that. I'm like, what a great excerpt. Look at those. You see all those pre-embargo Cubans on the table that they were selling and going for back then? And I was just going to bring it up and discuss it. Then I see it coming during the commercial break. I'm like, what's going on here? And then Alex is going to let it run and let the whole news article run.
No, it was like 20 seconds left.
I literally called him like, dude, cut it. The segment's over, because we didn't discuss it. But we'll talk about that on a later date. Maybe we'll get Lou.
That'll be awesome.
Maybe we'll get Lou on the show. He's back up in New Jersey. Maybe we'll get Lou on the show and give us a little history and background.
That'll be awesome.
Of that little excerpt. But I thought it was very cool. I wanted to share it with our fans today and talk a little bit about it. But we're not going to do that now, because in our waiting room is our guest of honor, our very special guest, and Eric Espinosa. We're very proud and honored to have him on. Guy Fieri and Eric Espinosa. Welcome to KMA Talk Radio, gentlemen.
Well, thanks for having us, and happy anniversary. And I was digging the throwback. I thought that was so cool. I'm listening to all that. I'm like, wait a second, did I miss something? Did something just happen? And then I could pick up the audio and the camera work, and I'm like, okay, that might have been a while.
Yeah, that was a Manhattan. That was a Manhattan news expert. I don't know from what year I emailed Lou. He didn't even respond to me back to really nail down the year, but I'm guessing that's got to be
40 years old.
Plus.
Chuck Scarborough, who was the anchor in that news segment, was like doing the news back around 1980 in New York.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, that's when the Russian, that's when the big hockey thing was going down. So
yeah, so it's like, right, 1980, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere right around there. Well, thanks for having us, guys. Very important to be here. Appreciate the invite. So I'm out in California. I went to bed early. No big party for me last night. I went to bed about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And I talked to my boy Espinosa, who is in Vegas right now for the fight. What time did you go to bed, Eric?
Are you really? Nice.
What's bed?
So, Guy, you did not have a Santo night then?
I did not have a Santo night, believe it or not. My wife says, what's going on? I said, I got to be sharp tomorrow. I'm going in to see the big boss. I feel like I'm going in for a big, for a big meeting. I don't want to be, missing anything and be sluggish. I want to be up to date on what's going on. And I said, I got a lot. I just got to be sharp. And she goes, oh my gosh, you're getting old. I said, no, I'll Santo tonight. Maybe right after this, maybe right after the interview, we'll start the Santo. Maybe it'll be one of those days.
Listen, we really appreciate both having you both on. I knew it was going to be an early morning for both of you. And one of the things, I'm sure you've been talked to about the cigars, and we're going to get to the cigars and talk about it, because, like, I don't know if you caught the first half of the show, but like, I'm not a big Connecticut guy. Eric, I don't think you were on either, but I'm not a big Connecticut fan, and I kind of never has been. It's not in my wheelhouse. I do smoke a couple. This Connecticut, which we've been smoking during the show, has to be my probably top two, worst case scenario, 3 Connecticut cigars I've ever smoked. This is, and I'm not saying it because you're on, Guy, because I just wouldn't say nothing at all.
Right.
I would just not bring it up at all.
We've been saying it for months. I've been saying it for
Alex
months.
and I was saying that, yep.
Well, I got to be honest with you, and I mean, I've had to completely show all my cards in the cigar, in my cigar life to Espinosa. He's kind of like my therapist. I remember the first time we met, we were at the Lowe's Hotel in Miami, and he threw me Laranja, and I didn't want to be rude. I did throw the cigar cutter back at him. I said, I don't cut. I think that was the beginning of our relationship. But he threw the Laranja to me, and I'm a Maduro guy, man, or always thought I was. I mean, I was just a big, heavy, as big as I can get him. And I kind of just, I was taken back. As a matter of fact, still to this day, one of my favorite cigars of all cigars. And when Eric said, what do you think about doing a Connecticut? I said, it's not my cup of tea. I said, but I realized that we're not just making cigars for Guy Fieri, we're making cigars for the world. And he says, well, I want you to try this. All right, well, I got to show my cards again, big guy. I love it. It is my early, it's my midday. I'm going to have a mimosa. I didn't say mimosa. I'm going to have a shot of Santo. I'm going to sit at the pool. I'm going to have 3 or 4 cigars. And the thing is, it's my gateway cigar. Anytime somebody tells me, because everybody knows now that I'm, in the cigar world, I break out the Connecticut. People are like, oh, I didn't think I liked cigars. There you go. Same thing that we do with the Santo Tequila is I get people to give them a chance to drink the Reposado, nice and smooth, no additives. I mean, it's just real tequila. That's all it is. So listen, I quit trying to, I quit trying to make an idea or an understanding about how the sorcery of Espinosa works. But if we're going to put it together and it's going to come out, people are going to dig it.
And they are digging it. And, one of the things I want to talk to you about is, look, I've been in this industry now 27 years. And we've had a lot of very popular and well-known people break into our industry. And before even trying the cigars, because we met here in my office and we talked, and you're our neighbor literally here in our HQ. You're not far from us at all here in our headquarters here in Boynton Beach. One of the things that I was taken aback by and very impressed with is your relatability. The fact that you just really were in the moment, not a passerby. You were genuine. You were genuine with my family, my daughter. FaceTimed with her, and
right. Remember?
You promised her a book, and you showed up at the Great Smoke with a book. And then you said you'd do the Great Smoke. You told me you'd love to come on KMA Radio. You followed through with all that. We didn't beat you down. You showed up for the Great Smoke last year. So that was one of the things that, because I can't tell you how many times you just get let down when you see somebody out there that you connect with and you have a passion for and you love what they're doing, and then you get this opportunity, you meet them, and then you get let down, like, God, and then that's why, honestly, there's some people I'm a fan on. I hope I never meet, because you don't want that let down of it, and that wasn't the experience we had with you and all. I remember when you left the office, I told Eric, I said, listen, man, this brand will have a great shot, because I could tell this guy's not just buying a train ticket. He really wants to be in it. So that was one of my first things I noticed from our experience. Now, I was going to ask you, as a guy coming from another industry into our industry, you were barely in it and you got thrown into an event like the Great Smoke, right? So what is it that you got surprised by or you weren't expecting coming into another industry that just really took you off guard?
Well, that's such a big question, and you don't have enough time for me to ramble on. But I will tell you this, that cigars have always been so important to me. I mean, I can tell you that I have bought more propylene glycol than probably any man ever wants to. I mean, at one time, I had 8 humidors, the small wood box humidors, but big ones. I mean, a couple that I made, a couple that I bought unfinished. I mean, so back in my day, early out of college, as soon as I had a chance to make any money, I was buying cigars. As soon as I got a chance, I went to this little place called Churchill's in Long Beach, and I sat there with this guy on my days off. I didn't know anybody in this town that I lived in. So on my days off, I'd ride my mountain bike over there, and I'd sit with this guy, and he would teach me about cigars. I mean, I picked his brain as Espinosa will get annoyed with my questions. I just sat there and asked him questions. So I became this, not aficionado, but this fan. And realized as soon as I got into cigars that I would never know everything there was to know about it. It's an ongoing quest, and that's one of the things that intrigues me so much about it. Is that if you really love something like this, like I love food and like I love my tequila and our wine and so forth, that it's just this never-ending opportunity to engage and to participate. And there's somebody that knows something more about some aspect of cigars than you do. So when I get a chance to meet you, Abe, and I get a chance to meet your team, and then I get to go to the Big Smoke, and then I get to hang out around, it's just this brotherhood, sisterhood, familyhood of people that really engage with it. And my favorite thing that I would say about a cigar is this. For a guy that moves 24/7, nonstop, pedal to the metal, when it's time to smoke a cigar is the time that I pull the car off the track. And that, to me, is something that doesn't happen enough. And so I'll look forward to it. Like, I'll gear up. It's a nice day. I'll start planning. So what has been the biggest surprise? I think the biggest surprise is to find out there's as many cigar heads out there as there are. I mean, there are passionate fans of cigars, not just the brands, not just the people, but of the cigars, of the culture. So it's been amazing. And then to meet Eric Espinosa, I mean, Eric is like a long lost brother, and the friendship and the partnership. And we're doing this whole deal of Knuckle Sandwich cigars on a handshake. And that, to me, is probably the biggest gift out of all of it, without getting sentimental.
Guy, the story goes that when you and Eric were going to get together to do this cigar. Eric originally told you he didn't want to do it.
Oh, yeah.
What was your reaction to that when that happened?
It's probably the reaction that I would have had, because I get a lot of people that come to me and want to be in the restaurant business. A lot of celebrities want to be in the restaurant business. It's sexy. It's fun. It's, but it's a lot of hard work, and it's got to flow through your veins. I mean, you got to be a restaurant, but you got to be a food person. And so as people come to me and ask me about opening restaurants and so forth, I'm like, listen, the greatest way to make a small fortune in the restaurant business is to start with a large one. Okay. So, and Espinosa told me the same thing. He says, he says, what do you want out of this? Do you want the notoriety and so forth? I said, no. I said, I want to smoke my own cigars. He goes, I'll make you your own cigars. You tell me what cigar you like. I'll put your band on it. I'll send you, I'll send you a few, Espinosa, I'll send you a few cases. Yeah. I'll take care of it. He gives me that hustle. And I'm like, no, I want to do this. It was 2 years of I had to be his friend, kind of this. Eric and I hung out for 2 years. He would send me cigars and say, what do you think of this cigar? What do you think of that cigar? We spent a lot of time. I really think he spent 2 years just vetting me out to find out if he put his time and energy, because he's super sought after, as everybody knows, if I was going to deliver my end of the deal. And I just told him this. I said, I won't let you down. And matter of fact, and Abe, we haven't told the story, but that last year? No, 2 years ago, when we came up, we literally left South Beach, Miami, drove straight to the event, did the interview on stage, turned around and drove straight back to Miami because I was in the middle of the Food and Wine Festival. All because A, I told you I'd be there, and B, I told Espinosa I'd be there, and C, I'm not going to let either one of you guys down. I won't let anybody down that I put my name on. If I give my word, I'm going to do it. But no, it was, I was expecting he was going to say that because I had already done my research on him. See, I didn't want to go to some big brand and say, do you want to collaborate? Let's go make a Guy Fieri cigar and let's just put my name on something and hey, this will be fun. I wanted to be in this from the grassroots. And matter of fact, Eric and I have a big plan to go to Nicaragua and shoot a whole program from the grassroots, or from the tobacco's roots, I should say. So this is something I will be in for the rest of my life, without question. No question at all.
And I think that's resonating with the people. I think everybody's feeling it right off the bat, that this isn't just. And that's a great question from Eric, because you know what? That's a question I ask all the time when somebody, because we get it all the time, just like you do. Oh, I want to start our own brand. Everybody's making their own brands. It's like, it's nuts. Guys that were literally like line cooks and librarians a week ago want to make their own cigar brand. And I say to them, what is it you want out of it? What are you hoping to accomplish? Are you wanting to build a big company that you'll sell one day? So, because if you don't know that, then why are you even getting into anything? Right? I mean, then what you have there is just a hobby. You don't have anything. So that was a great question. What was your take? And listen, and extremely indebted, because I know what you went through to come to the Great Smoke last year, and you were out there early, and I don't know how many boxes you signed that day. It had to be insane. But were you expecting that kind of extravaganza?
Hey, listen, it is. I'm actually okay. Let's be honest about this. I'm actually pissed I missed this year. I was talking to Eric about this. I said, boy, we got to get this schedule worked out. I said, we just not have it when the South Beach Food and Wine Festival is happening. Because if we can have it the weekend before or the weekend after, I'm just looking at a bunch of time that I get to come up and hang out with you guys. And you got the coolest people surrounding you. I mean, everybody that's up there, from the vendors to the fans to the producers. I mean, you draw the biggest, the biggest group that I've seen besides what, we had a chance to do in Vegas. No, it was not what I was. I've never been around anything like that. I've never seen that kind of group of people that are so passionate about it, waiting in line to get those boxes signed.
Passionate.
And then their knowledge level. Oh, my God. People are pulling off. I've been around a bunch of wine. I live up here in the wine country, Northern California. And I'm around a lot of tequila people. I'm, of course, around food, around chefs. And so as chefs, we can talk about things in real detailed manner. I'm talking to people about cigars. I'm listening to people rattling information over here about stuff. And I'm like, they're talking about 20 years ago of some cigar somebody made and they've got a box left. I mean, this is nuts. So no, it was a really great experience. And for those people that have not had a chance to go. Now, I met a lot of people that made the pilgrimage across the country, and even people from out of the country. It's something that you're just going to continue to have to wrangle. I don't know the venues that you'll be able to, gain anymore, because it's going to be out of control. But I want to be there. Please, can we organize some dates?
I don't know when the Food and Wine Festival is in 2024, but Our date is February 24th, 2024. So
see, I think it's always that same weekend. I think it's that third weekend of February.
Well,
that
you know what's funny is there's two other major events that I've always tried to work around: the TAA and Pro Cigar Festival, or the TPE and Pro Cigar. I'm just gonna have to put the Food and Wine Festival now down on our radar. Start working on avoiding the.
We've started to do some really great events. So every year now, for the last 2 years, we've interfaced cigars with inside of the festival. And I carry around, Abe, I'll tell you, I carry around a duffel bag of cigar. Matter of fact, actually, I'll show you. I have a gun case over here. I carry around two boxes of cigars with me, because as soon as you're smoking a cigar, someone sees me smoking, like, oh, hey, chef, gosh, oh, that's a great, whose cigars? I said, it's mine. Oh, how do I get one? Hang on a second. Click. Here you go. Yeah. I'm like the peddler of the cigars. I should just have a sign, and sell gum and everything too. Have at the fight.
So I got good news. I just looked up the date for 2024.
I was just Googling it.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Abe. I won't steal your thunder.
I didn't find it.
It says February 23rd to 26th. The Food Network South Beach Food and Wine Festival.
So we're screwed again.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh, I thought it was a week before. I thought it was a week before.
We're
screwed. Oh, okay. Bad news. I'm sorry. I thought we
I gotta start putting it on our radar.
Right. That, or we gotta find out how to land a helicopter at the beach and get it to your place. But it was worth it.
Don't put that past Abe.
We had such a great time, and when I came back, because what happens? I don't know if you've ever been to the festival. It's a really great event. And there's a lot of things to take from the festival, Abe, that you and I should maybe talk about one day, because you're putting on, people aren't coming just to buy stuff. They're not coming just to smoke cigars. They're coming for the experience. They're coming to rub elbows and remind themselves of why they love this industry so much and why they appreciate what cigars do for them. But there's just so much bandwidth of what you're doing, and you make it such a happy festival. I mean, nobody was uptight. People were waiting in line, but no one was bitching about it. I mean, how can you bitch? You're standing there with smoking a cigar, having a good time, talking to other people about cigars. Now you're coming in to listen to the godfathers, the aficionados of cigars come and pontificate on their insight. I mean, you touched all the corners, man, from the cigars to the people to the beverages to the food. To, it was just great. Like I said, I'm very remiss that I wasn't there this year.
I always said it's a testament to the event to have that many people come from all over the world, be exposed to booze and food for 5 hours, and really we've never had a negative incident. I mean, we've been very fortunate. Right. It's just a testament to the people that are coming, man. They're there to be happy. They want to be happy. This year was very cool. We had Mardi Gras was the theme, so there was a lot of Cajun cooking going on, and very cool stuff on stage. And next year's the year of the dragon, but we're going to work something out, Guy. I'm going to keep you on the radar, and we're going to work something out, because I'm going to tell you something. You, whether you like it or not, you've been adopted by this community. I mean, and you will see that this community is like food people, extremely passionate people. I think there's a lot of things in common of our two universes, and they're very, very passionate people, and they're very dedicated and loyal to people. So I think it was awesome that you were there. So I really do, and I appreciate it. So, that being said, both of you guys are on here. What was that, Alex?
I have a question. I'm curious. So you and Eric.
Can somebody ask me a question?
I got a question. It's just for both you guys. I got you.
What the fuck?
I
haven't
got
gone
you,
to
bro.
bed, bro. I'm like,
Eric, I got a question. How hungover are you? Or have you even started to be hungover yet? You're just
not yet.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I'm that.
No, so for both you guys, so Knuckle Sandwich, right now we have the Habano, we have the Maduro, we have the Connecticut, which I love. We have the Chef's Edition, which is like a Perfecto, and we have the 55 now.
Yep.
Do you guys?
We don't have the 55. Guy Fieri has the 55.
I tell you what, we don't have any either because they're all gold.
Ask him.
So
before you ask that question, go ahead.
Do you guys have a favorite of the line?
We both, we're very similar. I mean, he likes full body just like I do. I mean, I can tell you what he did with the 55s. The way it came out, it was his 55th birthday. We were up there celebrating, and I made him 55 boxes to give out to 55 of his best friends. Guess how many he gave out? 0.
I can't believe you just sold me out like that.
And he looks at me. This is phenomenal. I mean, this is phenomenal. No, he's giving some out, but that's one of my favorites. I mean, that it's an oval cigar. Cigar is phenomenal. You know, what he told you is no different the way I feel. You know, it has his name on it, but it also has my name on it. And he doesn't do nothing half-assed. I don't do nothing half-assed. You know, for that man to be on your show, busy as he is, I mean, I look at him like a twin. I really do. You know, we talk about this all the time. His work ethic, he's got that it factor. You know, they tell you who's got the it factor in sports. Well, he's got the it factor. The man does not stop. And whatever he says he's going to do, he does. That's why the cigars are doing great. Listen, there's a lot of great cigars out there. But he does what he says he's going to do, and he does it. Nothing to ask. I mean, he cuts no corners in nothing that he does. And we don't cut corners making cigars. That's why it's been a great, you know, collaboration. And getting back to your answer, I just have to say that because I'm a little hungover. But the truth is, every cigar I make, I like. Which is better than the other? Depends. I'm smoking the Habano right now. That 55 is pretty stout. You know, I like to smoke it at nighttime. But knowing Guy, it doesn't matter morning, night. You know, he's one of us. He really is. He'll smoke the Maduro in the morning. He'll smoke the Habano in the afternoon, and it doesn't matter. His palate's already adapted it. And I like them all. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. The Connecticut, I'm not a big Connecticut smoker, but it's one of the few Connecticut's that I'll smoke.
All right, so I have to show you this. This is my travel case. So none of the travel humidors were surviving because one, you can only put like 5 or 6 cigars in a travel humidor. I don't travel 5 or 6 anything. So I went to I called Eric. I didn't have a box with me, so I called Eric and I said, "Hey, give me the measurement." So he gave me the measurement. So this is how I roll as I go through town. So we have a little sample pack that Eric made me so I can hand them out. Then I have my pocket pack, which has my big lighter and a couple of smokes. And then I just restock. And people always think that it's a gun case, but then I'll roll through and then I have my selection. Wow. But so I'm getting ready to head up to my buddy's mom's event, and I'll bring this with me. But I bring everything from the 55 to the Connecticut to the Habano to the Maduro. I bring the whole thing. I'm like the candy man. All right, people see me walking in with that case and they know it's game on. So I'll. But you know what I was going to say, Eric? If you're cool with it, I have a few boxes of the 55. And Abe, I know what a philanthropist you are and how you're taking care of people. How about I take one of those boxes of the 55 and I sign it and I send it to you. And you find the right time and the right environment and the right situation. And maybe we hold it for the big smoke for next year. But it's one of the most coveted things. There's none left. I possess all of them. And we take that box and we raise some money and give some money to some folks that are in need. And I mean, I'm holding on to them to make them the Guy Fieri pre-Castro. You know, I'll hold on to them till I'm 65. But let me send you an autographed box, and you guys take it and do something great with it, and let's make some money for somebody.
1,000%. You pick the charity, we'll make it happen.
Well, let's do something that's close to you or close to the cigar world. You know, there's who knows what it is. I mean, I'm my foundation is all about, it's all about first responders and veterans and active military. You know, we do something every month with our foundation about going somewhere in the country. You were going to be down in Palm Springs this next weekend, feeding first responders down there. So you tell me something that's near and dear to you. And find the right venue to put this up. And I mean, maybe we sell raffle tickets throughout the year, whatever. I mean, you're talking about something people can't get. This is not going to happen. It's a one and done. There were 555 boxes made. 500 went out. 55 went to me. And that's all she wrote.
And we'll get one of those and we'll do something really special with it, my friend. 1,000%. And that's another great thing I'd like to bring up while we got you on, I as a guy who I've done above average in my life, I've managed to achieve some level of success. I always try to find ways that I can to give back. In fact, the Great Smoke's been tied to charity since its inception 17 years ago. And now we raise a lot of money for the Kids Cancer Foundation every year. But you are very active in giving back to the community, especially to those who serve our communities. Was that something that was instilled with you watching your family, or where did that inspiration come from? Or is it just a something that you just developed on your own?
No, my parents were hippies from Ohio in the 60s and moved to California. But I have to say, they weren't dope smoking hippies. My mom's always like, quit telling people we're hippies, because I don't think they're acid. But no, my parents came to California in 68, and that was just, we lived in a small town in Northern California. If you ever saw the movie Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman, it's a little town called Ferndale. That's the town that I was raised in.
Wow.
Yeah, really cool town. If you ever get a chance to go see it, it's a matter of fact, I'm going there tonight for my buddy's his mom's anniversary or celebration of life. But this amazing little town. But the town was built around a ton of people all participating in supporting the community. And that's just the way I was raised. My parents were always super involved in our community and philanthropic. And so I'm the same like you, Abe. You know, you get an opportunity to have the platform that you get, or I get, or anybody gets for that matter. We all have a way we can impact this world. And as long as we take 10% of our time, 10% of our whatever we can give, and not everybody can give money. You know what I say? People say, you don't have money, you don't have time. Give it out in social media. Just promote positive things about people. You know, make the world a better place. And so in my situation, I would be so foolish. I'd be so disappointed in myself to be doing what I'm doing in TV and all these other brands and so forth if I wasn't taking some of that time and energy and focusing on others. My little sister passed away of cancer, unfortunately, when she was 38, and have had a lot of that terrible, I hate being in the cancer club. It's the worst thing in the world. There's a lot of focus on that. So I let people do what they do there. I look at it and say, we're the greatest country in the world. And I don't think that people always get it. I think that if you're an immigrant, or if you're the kids of an immigrant, maybe you understand it. But as we've moved through generations of people being here, people are kind of like, you know, entitled to the fact that we're a free country. No. It's men and women and their families that are making the greatest sacrifice in the world. And it's not always a sacrifice of life. It's a sacrifice of, mentality. And I mean, there's just so many aspects that go on. And first responders are these people that have to go deal with these difficult situations. You know, they're just starting to talk about PTSD of first responders. You be the officer, the firefighter that arrives on the accident where a family's in a minivan, and you have to face these things. I mean, it gives me goosebumps talking about it. And so I'm looking at heroes walking on, just walking by us. So my interest has been celebrating those that save us, celebrating those that recognize us and that make a commitment that is really quite unfathomable to most folks. So it's just been a natural thing for me. But I just try to encourage people, find what you're passionate about and just do something with that. And we will continue to make this a better place to live.
That's great words, my friend. Thank you. It's funny because I'm pretty sure you have a insight to your effect on people who are foodies in the food world. I'll give you a perfect example, right? When I travel, I do research, like homework, like a class study. I'm scoping out where we're going to eat.
It really does, absolutely.
During our trip. I mean, I do. And I'm going through the reviews and I'm scoping, I'm planning out, all right, these are the restaurants, right? And I was just scrolling through because I have cities and then saved bookmarks, for the restaurants. And I know I was researching 2 trips that we have coming up this year. So I was trying to find it so I can mention it to you, but I'll text it to you later if I find it.
This scares me, Abe. It sounds a little like you might be starting your own diners, drive-ins, and cigars show.
No, I'm happy with the cigar industry. But
Listen,
if you ever
let me tell you, going somewhere with Abe, your itinerary is booked. Long prior to getting there, you know exactly where you're eating and what stops you're making.
Yes.
Hey, I'll tell you what that is, just so everybody doesn't think Abe is completely crazy. We only get a chance to have tonight's dinner one time in our life. Tonight's dinner is just this one time. And after we blow it tonight, we don't get to have it again. And to me, that's the way I look at food. I would rather not eat than to eat a crappy meal or to eat something that's not going to be significant. So I'm with you. You're going on this vacation. You're going to be in whatever city. Why not make every meal experience awesome? It's the same thing with smoking a cigar. You're going to carve out the time to spend this 45 minutes to sit out on the patio, smoke this, or you guys are lucky enough to get to smoke in your office or your house. I haven't convinced my wife of that yet. But you're going to get a chance to do it. Why sit there and smoke a shitty cigar that hasn't had proper humidification or something you've been carrying around in your pocket? No, you get the chance to do it. Do it right. It's only one round of this, folks. I'm with Virginia. I'm sorry. Back to you.
Amen. That's the way I look at it. I don't know when I'm going to be in the city again. I want to research the best place. So as I'm scrolling, I like to look at the interiors, and I see a picture of you on the wall. You've been there, you signed, whatever. I'm like, okay, that gets bookmarked, right? I mean, just the fact, that alone would make it bookmark worthy. So now you're in the cigar industry, right? What do you say to someone who's never had a knuckle sandwich?
The first thing I do is throw Espinosa's name around. I'm like, hey.
Okay, so what do you say positively to someone? No, I'm just.
I couldn't set that up any better.
Eric's gonna text me later.
You guys can abuse me today. I'm a little hangover. You guys can abuse me today, but
yeah, no, don't worry. Abe and I had worked on some of this routine about an hour ago, Eric, before I called you.
We love Eric.
The thing is I go along that same idea. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to have the name. It doesn't have to have anything about it except the authenticity. When I do the mom and pop Triple D joints, the idea behind it is it's got to have a story, it's got to have character, and it's got to taste great. And that's exactly what this Knuckle Sandwich is about. Knuckle Sandwich is the name of all of my companies. Everything is called, it's based off of this tattoo right here, which is a knuckles with a sandwich. It's the first, when I came back from Food Network the first week, they said, we got to send you a check, $1,200, all of it, $1,200. Wow. And I couldn't send it to my restaurant company because I had a business partner. So I had to come up with a name for for my company. So I have all my buddies sitting around on a Friday night, getting ready to, get after it. And I said, hey, you guys do me a favor. I got to come up with a name for my company now outside of my restaurant company. And because they're going to send me a check. And my one buddy, his name's Dirty P. Dirty says, hey, Guido, why don't you, that's my nickname. He says, Guido, why don't you make us something to eat? And the food will give us some brain power. And I looked at him, I said, because it was a smart ass answer. I said, yeah, Dirty, how about I make you a knuckle sandwich? And he goes, that'd be a good name. And so everything of all my companies fall into Knuckle Sandwich. So as we got ready to make this cigar, and as Eric and I and my team and his team and the collaboration and Dylan and everybody's in there talking, we started to put this together. And Eric says, could we use Knuckle Sandwich? I said, no. We don't touch Knuckle Sandwich. That's not it's never going to get branded to one thing. Never. And as time went on, it just made more sense. Couldn't call it Flavor Town. Flavor Town's a great name. We use it on a lot of food brands and so forth. But I said, you know what? As passionate as I am about what we're doing, as much as I believe in Espinosa, as much as this will be something that I'm never going to sell my side of this. This is not going anywhere. I said, Knuckle Sandwich is the right name because it's history. It has so much meaning to me. So when we started, so now we call it, okay, now it's going to be Knuckle Sandwich. And I told Eric, and this is the number one thing I said to him, was, Eric, I don't care how much money we make. Just as long as we make $1 profit, let's just make the greatest damn cigars. Let's do great, right? Money, we can all make money, and there's plenty of time to do that. I want to make something that feels good to me. I want to feel something that I carry around with me that I'm proud of. And I'm with a cigar all the time. I mean, the NBA people came up to me and said, we see you on the court with a cigar the whole time. We're scared you're going to light this. I said, I promise you I won't light it. I said, it makes me feel good. It's my pacifier. And they just die. People now see me with them all the time. And so the deal was, let's just do something and do it incredibly well. I don't care if we make any money with it. Let's just have a lot of fun. It's helped with it. And fortunately, it's given me an opportunity to meet you, meet your team, go into all these different experiences. Of course, we rated, as you know, super high in the first year with Cigar Aficionado. And I just told Eric, do not take our eye off the ball of what we're doing and how we're growing. And let's not make, something for everybody. And I don't want to mass produce things. Let's make it great. Let's make it not exclusive. Let's make it, so people can touch it. But let's continue to be better than we were yesterday. And that's the mantra and that's the attitude. And fortunately, with someone like Eric, I mean, as a chef, he couldn't have a bigger fan because his discipline and his attention to detail and his palate, I mean, I'm like a little kid compared to what he knows and what he touches. And so I'm just continually, like I said at the very beginning of this, I'm just on this education trail, and it's awesome. But I promise you this, being the kind of the outsider, I have brought more people with me back to the beehive and explain to them what the truth of cigars is, because people are like, oh, smoking and tobacco and the cancer and all. I said, listen, you're smoking a couple cigars, not 4 packs of them. Okay. Put it into respect about what you're doing and what you're appreciating. And you're smoking all tobacco. You're not smoking a bunch of crap. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So listen, I'm just happy to be part of the team. Put me where you want to put me. Let me do what I can do. Like being invited to come and speak today. I'm just happy to be here, man. It's a dream. It's really, honestly, a dream come true. And Abe, I'll say this last thing. I know I'm getting long-winded.
No, you're good.
I asked when you go with an agency, they with the talent agency with William Morris Endeavor, they said, what kind of things do you want to do? I said, well, I want to write a cookbook. I want to have I want to have a show. I want to do this. I want to do this. I said, yeah, one day I'd like to have a wine company because we're here in the wine country. And and I said, I'd really like to one day make my own cigars. Nope, no cigars. I said, why not cigars? They said, well, your sister died of cancer and cigars and, this whole thing. So it went on for a while. And not that they were disparaging against cigars. It's just, we all know the industry gets every industry gets its negative side of it. So on and on and on it goes. Well, finally, it's my big day. I got my star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Everybody's there. All my best friends are there. And foreigners playing on stage. That's my big, they said, where would you like to have your luncheon? And I said, what, my luncheon? They said, after you get your star, you get to have a luncheon. I said, I don't want any luncheon. I said, I want a kegger. I want a kegger in the parking lot with all my fans. They're like, and who would be at the kegger? I said, I want Motley Crue to play. Like, wow, are you crazy? Well, anyhow, it turned out to be Foreigner played, which my buddy's the lead singer for. Anyhow, we're standing there. I'm smoking a cigar, smoking my buddy Jeff Ruby's cigar. It's drizzling a little bit. Foreigner's playing. I got my son, my nephew, my best friends, my agents walk up. We're standing there. I said, okay, you've hit it. You got your star. What do you want to do next? And I said, could I please start the goddamn cigar line? And they said, all right, yes, we'll back you up. You can go and do it. And that the next day when I got home was when I started calling friends. I called Hans Dipple. Hans Dipple introduced me to Tim, and here we are. But that's really how that was the moment I'm like, finally, I crossed the finish line. I get to go do what I want.
Now that we actually got this question from one of our listeners, now that you're doing it, are you worried about, because we see it happens, about backlash or any potential future partners that will have apprehension about this part of your life?
Listen, you're going to piss off somebody somewhere somehow. I mean, it's inevitable. Okay.
Absolutely.
But I'll tell you this, if I really believe in my hearts of hearts, what I'm doing isn't hurting anybody. Who I'm doing it with is good people. What interface we get with, particularly in my realm of first responders and active military. I mean, there's nothing to make. I go and do these luncheons and hand out and feed people and do so forth. And then all of a sudden they'll see me smoking a cigar. And they're like, where'd you get that? And I'm like, it's my company with my buddy. And they're like, can I get one of those? I mean, you would have thought that I just handed them over the keys to a new car. So to me, it works. The interface is perfect. And personally, as Guy Fieri, I need, as I said earlier, I need to get off the racetrack once in a while, and nothing better for me than to sit out there. My wife likes to smoke small little cigarillos, and nothing better than the two of us to sit out on the patio and smoke a cigar and just chill. And I actually have to, as people have to work on breathing techniques, I have to work on not burning a cigar out, just cooking it down too fast, right. Taking my time. But I'm not worried about. It's just there's going to be enough things in this world to be concerned about, and worried about, and pissed about. I'm sure not going to let cigars be one of them. And granted, I did find out inside of our industry, there are charlatans. There are people that are selling, a bag of beans. There's stuff going on, but that's in every industry. I mean, I'm in the tequila business, and we find that we're one of 5% of the tequilas that have no additives. We don't add shit to our tequila. We are just 100% blue agave. But in the tequila business, to be a tequila, you only have to be 51% blue agave, and then you could put whatever. You could put sink water in your, dishwater in your tequila. It's crazy. So I'm just happy to be rubbing elbows, running with the big bulls like you guys, and Abe, you can sniff out the bullshit on them anytime. I mean, you guys know. You guys have you are the heartbeat of what's going on. So to be invited, to be participating, to be friends, to be comrades in this is awesome. So
I know we've kept you way longer.
No, shit. I'm the one rambling on. Man. I'm all excited. My wife said to me, she goes, "You're really going to go to bed this early? You're really getting up at 7 a.m. for an interview?" She goes, "What is going on?" I said, "This is something I'm, like I said, super passionate about."
I don't know if you saw this, Abe, but our man Gene is starting to bid at 3,000 on that side.
I was going to share though. I was two things I want to share.
Hey, listen, Gene don't play. We watched Gene offer a guy 500 to eat one of those devil's toenail lollipop ghost peppers. So Gene's for real.
Nice.
You have your opening bid right there for our charity guy right there. So
Gene, the dancing machine.
Oh, yeah. Gong show.
We got it going. I had a question for Eric that I wanted to get out while Guy was still on. I wanted to make sure you're still awake, bro. You've been very quiet.
Dude,
so I figured
listen. I'm on here all the time, bro. I wanted the cigar industry to we talked about it. I wanted to meet Guy and I wanted to be about him because he deserves it.
Well, the question is about Guy, but it's directed towards you. So,
all right.
And be honest, because I know you don't like to show your softer or concerned side, but really, were you nervous and afraid in coming out with this project? And I mean, did you feel extra pressure? Like, look, man, I don't want to be that guy who made another celebrity stick, and Guy's my friend. I want to make sure. Were you nervous? Was there a little extra pressure making this come out right?
Absolutely not. It was a walk in the park. Once I got to know who he was, okay, let's be honest. This is the only guy, how people say it's celebrity, what have you, that has worked. Everyone else has failed. Now, the reason why everyone else has failed is because no one ever did anything about it. When I sat down with him, and when I met him, we started talking, and I told him that, that I tell the whole world that I'm sick and tired of people telling me I look like Brad Pitt. And he starts laughing, and he says, I do the same thing, when he's in Europe or whatever, and someone tells him, hey, you look familiar, but he does the same thing.
No, this is a real thing. People walk up and go, are you? And I go, no, I know, I'm not Brad Pitt. But he told me that before I told him that. But that's the one-liner I've been using forever.
That's funny.
I post pictures. I'm sick and tired of people telling me I look like Brad Pitt, yada, yada, yada. And so we were so compatible. And when I realized that, listen, and I'm not saying it because he's here. I mean, I don't even consider him a business partner anymore. He's my brother. He's my friend. We've hanged out so many times that we're very, very similar. He can outdrink me, by the way. But listen, so it was a walk in the park for me because I knew that he was going to do what he was supposed to do. And being very similar, he doesn't cut corners in nothing that he does. Neither do we. And I knew it was going to be a home run. Look, I don't waste his time. He's in doing these, little half-assed things. When we need him, we tell him, hey, we need you to be there. And he's there. No questions asked. No one else does that. And I look at it this way. We made a great cigar that happens to be for a celebrity. It's not a celebrity cigar, and he's done everything that I've asked him for. I got to tell you this quick story since he was talking about the military first responder, how He is. So we're in we're going to an event. We were at Lake Worth and we're driving, and there's this. We stopped to put some air in the tire, and there's this homeless guy walks pretty long way to throw away a piece of chicken in the garbage can. I don't know if you remember, Guy, and it kind of hit his soft spot. And of course, Guy being Guy gets out, and I don't let him get out by himself. I'm right next to him, and he starts talking to the homeless guy. You could tell he had problems, but it impressed him that he walked that far to throw the chicken in the garbage. And the guy starts talking, and we didn't know nothing he said. And you could tell he had issues. And we get back in the car, and his son looks at him and says, "Dad, that was great. You got down." And then me being who I am, I said, "Yeah, but Guy, but I can't believe what he said." I said, "What he said?" He told me he liked Bobby Flay better than you did.
He gets a platform, Abe, but he's got to take a shot. I appreciate it.
Oh, hey, listen, he takes shots. We're doing the big smoke, and we're signing it. He's signing his side. I'm signing mine. And every two signatures, he puts like the devil horns on me, And here these guys getting, I'm giving them 4 eyeballs, and we're just having fun. I mean, there's some really messed up posters out there that we just like, but we have fun with it, and it's about, if you don't have fun, then why do it? Okay. Like you said, for me, it's not about the money. It really isn't, it's about gaining it's the brotherhood that, that we got. And listen, he's all in, and so am I. That's why I knew this was going to work. And then not only is it working, it's going to continue to work. It's 7:00 in the morning, his time, 8:00. Look where he's at. I like to see half these other people where the hell they're at. He's right there with us. And that's what he's made of. And people buy cigars. Yes, they like good cigars, but people also buy cigars of people who they like. It's the truth. Because I would never purchase a cigar of somebody who's an a-hole. And a cigar could be remarkable, but if the guy's a jerk off, I'm not buying this cigar.
I'm the same way. I don't like spending money where I don't feel like I should be spending my money. I don't care what they have or what they're selling. I'm the same way.
By the way,
the great thing is, and Eric and I talk about this on the regular basis of what's coming up. And I'm very entrepreneurial. I mean, building business, growing business, because there's a lot of people to serve. And so we're talking about doing some specially branded military cigars. We've got a really cool challenge coin that's coming out on this great cigar setup. It's just, there's so many really cool things in the works, and it takes time. When we have to develop it, we have to taste it, we have to create it, then we have to go make it, and then we have to bring it back. It's not an easy process. But what I'm really digging is how people are reaching out to us through the industry and saying, we want to see this from you now. We want to see that from you now. We want to see tins from you now. How can we get into this? Like I said, my wife smokes those little Davidoff cigarellos, and you can imagine there's a couple of knocks on the door of when is my cigar coming out. So it's now starting to get the recognition that it deserves, and we will continue to under promise and over deliver. I think both Eric and I have that energy now. But we sit in the same company with you guys, Abe. I mean, look at what you do, man. You give back so much more, like taking all the time that you do to promote the industry, through this message and through the Great Smoke. It's just, that's what we have to do to make sure that we continue to right the ship of what this is about.
It's funny. This whole show started on a whim, on a 13-week contract, almost 12 plus years ago, and we're 6 weeks away from our 500th episode. I mean, who knew? But you know what? Our shows have always been different. We don't do cigar reviews. We just kind of have fun. My goal was always to recreate the atmosphere of just sitting in a cigar lounge and the wonderful and amazing conversations and people you meet that we enjoy going to a lounge. All right, let's spread it to people all over the country, because we forget, as cigar fans, there's not that many lounges in the country. There are people.
Listen, you know where I live? I live in California.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have them everywhere.
Yeah, Florida's lucky.
Thing.
Yep.
But I'll
call Eric when I'm on the road doing Triple D. I'll call Eric and I'll be driving down the road and I'm like, hey, do me a favor. I'm in Salt Lake City. Tell me who carries our cigars. because I want to stop in and say hi. I don't want to do a big promo. I just want to stop in and say hi. And I'll usually even buy a couple of my own cigars. But I want to come do this with you, Abe, live, and have some have some of your fans and do one, in the parking lot or whatever, hang out and get a couple hundred people and have a big smoke. And I'll bring a few cases of tequila, and because at least you're going to be doing it at a normal time when I'm back in Florida. Right. But I'll be back in the West Palm area soon, and I would love to come see you guys and hang out and talk shop and have some laughs. And maybe I might just do an Eric Espinosa roast.
So
yeah.
So Guy, listen. See, here's the thing, because I'm going to tell you, I've got to make it quick. There's only about 5 minutes left of the show, but another great person I met, because when people like at your level, Guy, say something, we always don't take it 100% to heart, because we know in the moment it's what you mean, but your lives are crazy and you go nuts. So one time, Steve Bisciotti, owner of the Ravens, came to a Great Smoke, and our Great Smoke's in February, and my father was in town, and he invites us to his suite to go watch a game in the fall. I never reach out to him. I never say nothing. The season starts 7 months later, and sure enough, come August, I get an email from his secretary. Hey, these weeks are available. Steve would love to have your father and you and your father to come up for a game, and he invites me almost every year since. So when you say that, I'm going to reach out to you, because 500's around the corner, and if you happen to be in town, Guy, bro, we'll put on a show.
Listen, I don't make shallow offers.
I know
it is the real deal. And matter of fact, I don't know when is the date of the 500th.
We could maneuver whenever we want. We make it happen whenever we want.
Yeah, we'll take a week off.
Abe, I believe you have my cell, right? Yeah. So just text me after this, and we'll go over it, because I am coming. It's my wife's 32nd birthday.
God bless.
He just gave me a big smile. No, my wife. It's my wife's birthday, so we're going to be heading out there end of May. So maybe we could put that together, because we're a stone's throw away, and it would be a lot of fun. And listen, to celebrate with you guys, we get some bail money, we get Eric out of Vegas, we get him home. This could work out awesome.
Hey, before we go, I just want to tell you what we got down the pipeline. We have another chef special, same size, different blend coming out. We're
Will that be a PCA? Will that be at the PCA?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And we're also doing the something called the prefix, which is we have 3 like perfectos coming out, 3 of each of the Habano, the Connecticut, and the Maduro, and it's got a special limited coin on there. And then it's funny, we had a meeting, and all over the country, a lot of people ask us for a 6x60. And one of our mutual friends, Hans Dippel, texted Guy and I yesterday, and he put, when are we going to see a 6x60? Wow. And I text him back, as soon as I get half a boner. I mean, I can show you one, but
Eric,
I love it.
I think he's drinking, Abe. He's drinking. Don't
listen. But we are going to do a 6x60 on both blends. This is a cool show, Guy. We can cuss and everything on the show. So
evidently.
Yeah, so listen, we're going to do a 6x60.
It's funny, there's always a delay, but there's all the laughing going on for your comment.
So that's what we got in the pipeline, and
And in Vegas, by the way, and this is my side of the family, is I told Eric, I said, I love going down to Vegas. I love it's right in the middle of my family vacation, which is tough, but I told Eric from day one I'll be there. But this year, we're going to throw a party. I said, Eric, we can't just let everybody just take off and just go wander around casinos. I said, I want to throw a party for us, for our key accounts, for our key supporters like you guys, Abe, and let's get together, have some really great, make it chef driven. Let me do my side of it. Let's make great food, have great drinks, some entertainment, a good hang, just for the core people around Knuckle Sandwich and Espinosa. So look forward to that, because I told him, I said, just tell me how much money I can spend. Tell me what the budget is, and then I'm going to go build a party. So we're going to have a really fun party on one of the nights. So look forward to that, and I'll give you
absolutely.
And again, maybe it's one of those things. Maybe it's one of those things we'll be able to get some tickets and raffle them off on the show. Get Gene the dancing machine to come pick up his box and buy some tickets to this event. Because listen, if we're going to do something fun and it's something exclusive, why not make some some charity money off of it and help other people. So it's always a win-win.
Gene's got an
That
official
I'm
nickname
nervous.
from Guy Fieri now.
Yeah.
He's got an official nickname. He's never going away. It's stuck for life.
I'm not nervous about making the cigar. Never had. But I'm nervous about Guy Fieri's party.
Listen. First off, not only tell your wife, please tell her thank you for sharing you with us this morning. We're deeply appreciative. Thank you guys both for getting up early. It's been an honor and a pleasure. Before we let you guys go, Guy, anything you want to tell anybody, what you got going on, what you should look out for, specials, shows, anything up in the horizon you want to share with people?
No, you know what?
Outside the cigar industry, just in your universe.
No, the tequila is a big part of our life. We're doing a lot with our tequila Santo, and Sammy Hagar is my business partner. We just finished Tournament of Champions. We're getting ready for, like I said, getting ready to come back to the Florida homestead soon. Nothing other than, cigars are really the big focus right now with July coming up in Vegas. But it's great to catch up with you guys, and we're nonstop. It's always going. My son Ryder's prom is tonight, so we're excited. Gosh. We're excited for that. And
that's awesome.
Other than that, man, just get ready. What we have coming up the pipeline is going to be awesome, and I'm glad that we've had a chance to sit here and talk about it. But we're going to be doing this more now that I know I have to just not drink on Friday night. Get up early for Saturday. Now that I know the routine, but it's just going to make it easier if I come to Florida. Now's another greater reason to come to my house in Florida is just so I know that I can come hang out. So, thank you for having me, guys.
I didn't get that memo about the not drinking part. No one told me.
I don't think you would have listened to it anyway.
I'm in for the fight, by the way. Great fight.
I know. I'm sick. I wish I was.
I know. Me too. We're boxing guys, Alex.
Unfortunately, I got to dish out $85 for it.
All right. Well, listen, thanks to everybody involved, to all our loyal listeners and fans out there. Please check us on our social media pages, Smoking, and visit our private group, Smoking Social, on Facebook. It's a great community, great place to hang. As always, we hope we've entertained you. You had fun. It's always the best way to start your Saturdays here on KMA Talk Radio. Big love to Guy, Eric, everybody out there. Peace, everyone. We'll see you next week. Until then, keep it lit.
Thank you.